Welcome to Algorithmic Arguments. I'm your host, the Orchestrator. Tonight, we're diving into the phenomenon of Gutfeld, Greg Gutfeld's wildly popular late-night talk show that's got everyone talking. Can a program that blends humor, opinion, and outrageous commentary actually be a force for good in today's polarized media landscape? That's what we're here to explore. Joining me are some fascinating perspectives. Conspiracy Carl Jessup, with his keen eye for patterns and alternative narratives. MovieMarcus Webb, who brings his expertise in storytelling and pop culture analysis. Tiffany Nguyen, our resident expert on the art of listening and reading people. And Bigfoot Prescott, who's always venturing into the unknown. Expect a lively discussion that will challenge assumptions and spark new ideas. Let's get into it. What's behind Gutfeld's appeal, and what does it say about our times?
Here's what they don't tell you about Gutfeld, that his rise to prominence might be more than just a simple case of being a conservative commentator. Now, this is documented in Gutfeld's early work with Fox News, his columns in the Washington Post and National Review Online. Follow the money. Have you noticed how many corporate sponsors he has? That's not just coincidence, it's a strategy to shape public opinion. Connect the dots. Consider Gutfeld's criticisms of progressivism alongside his cozy relationships with big business. What if I told you that some of those big mouths he's critiquing are actually on his payroll or have vested interests in his success? Do your own research, but I'll tell you one thing, the lines between journalism and PR get blurry when you're raking it in from corporate deals.
Carl, while it's true Gutfeld has many corporate sponsors, there's no concrete evidence provided to support the claim that he's critiquing individuals on his payroll or with vested interests in his success. I think it's essential to examine the dynamics at play on Gutfeld. Given its corporate sponsorship and Greg Gutfeld's critiques of various individuals and groups. While some might argue that he's critiquing those with vested interests in his success, I believe we need more concrete evidence to support this claim directly targeting people on his payroll or closely affiliated with the show financially. The satirical nature of late-night television often blurs lines between humor and critique. However, when it comes to Gutfeld, there's a noticeable persistence in tackling topics that might otherwise be considered off-limits. If we consider the power dynamics at play here, given its Fox News airing and corporate backing, one could argue he's walking a tightrope, appealing to his audience while maintaining some level of critical distance. Let's not overlook how Gutfeld navigates these complex relationships between content, critique, and sponsorship. Doing so will provide valuable insight into the show's enduring appeal. Let's keep the discussion focused on verifiable facts and analysis of Gutfeld's content and impact.
Okay, so, I'm just saying Gutfeld is like the ultimate guilty pleasure, you know? I literally heard a customer at my coffee shop talking about how they love watching it just for the chaos that erupts every night. Like, have you seen the way Catherine Timpf and Greg Gutfeld go back and forth? It's like a beautifully crafted espresso shot. All the ingredients are there, but sometimes it's just messy. I think what makes the show so compelling is that it's unapologetically itself. It leans into being this weird mix of conservative commentary and absurd humor. I'm not saying I agree with everything they say, but you didn't hear this from me, but it's fascinating to watch. And I kinda love how it's become a cultural phenomenon.
MovieMarcus Webb's previous statement was mostly on topic but lacked concrete examples to support his claims about Gutfeld's dynamics.
Now, I've seen things out there that make me think about human behavior and patterns, like how a group of people can be drawn to the same spot, time and again. Gutfeld's got a similar thing going on, his show's attracting millions with its contrarian take on current events. It seems folks down there in the city are hungry for someone who challenges what they see as the mainstream narrative. That reminds me of how we cryptozoology enthusiasts get labeled fringe, but keep pushing forward, trying to prove our point about Bigfoot and other unknown creatures. The forest knows there's more to reality than what's been mapped. Maybe Gutfeld's audience is responding to a similar sense that something's not being covered in traditional media. His show might be filling an ecological niche of sorts, offering another perspective people can't find elsewhere.
We've just seen some fiery exchanges, but one thing that stood out was Conspiracy Carl's assertion that Greg Gutfeld's commentary on current events is actually a form of subtle social critique. It got me thinking, are we seeing satire or genuine opinion? The discussion is heating up. Stay tuned as our panel dives deeper into the enigma that is Gutfeld. If you're enjoying this, smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss what happens next when our experts take on the provocative world of late-night television.
Okay, so, I'm just saying Conspiracy Carl might be onto something with the sponsorship angle. I mean, have you noticed how Gutfeld always seems to land on topics that benefit their corporate backers? It's like they're brewing a cup of coffee and adding just the right amount of crema to make it palatable. When Greg Gutfeld critiques certain groups or individuals, it's almost as if he's stirring in some controversy to keep things interesting. I think what draws viewers in is this blend of irreverent humor and sharp commentary. They get invested because it feels like they're experiencing something real, even if it's carefully crafted. I'm not saying it's all genuine, but you didn't hear this from me. But Gutfeld has got a knack for tapping into the zeitgeist while staying safely within his corporate boundaries.
Here's what they don't tell you. Gutfeld's success isn't just about its conservative commentary or humor. It's also deeply rooted in the psychological manipulation of its audience. Follow the money, and you'll see that sponsors with vested interests in specific topics are calling the shots behind the scenes. Now, this is documented. I've seen instances where episode critiques align perfectly with sponsor agendas. Think about it, if you're a corporation trying to shape public opinion, you'd want a platform like Gutfeld. That's got millions of viewers and can sway opinions under the guise of entertainment. The dynamics between hosts like Greg Gutfeld and Catherine Timpf might seem authentic, but I'm telling you, friend, it's all part of a larger strategy to keep audiences entrenched in their perspectives while subtly shaping their views. Do your own research, look into the sponsors, the guests, and the topics they cover. You'll see what I mean. Connect the dots.
I think we've effectively dissected the Gutfeld phenomenon, highlighting its reliance on a potent blend of conservative commentary and offbeat humor. What struck me throughout this discussion is how Greg Gutfeld's ability to tap into his audience's pre-existing biases creates a symbiotic relationship between himself, his sponsors, and his viewers. The show's success hinges on walking that tightrope between irreverence and relatability, which Catherine Timpf's libertarian views help facilitate. Notably, the alignment of sponsor interests with episode content raises questions about the influence of corporate backing on media narratives. I'd argue that Gutfeld's contrarian appeal speaks to a larger societal craving for validation and community, one that's increasingly insular and self-reinforcing in today's digital landscape. Ultimately, this dynamic warrants closer examination as it reveals much about our current media consumption habits and what they say about us.
Okay, so I have been listening to this discussion and I'm just saying Gutfeld's success can't be reduced to just one thing. It's a perfect storm of factors. I've seen firsthand how people react to that show. They're either totally into it or completely repelled. There's no in-between. You didn't hear this from me, but I think Catherine Timpf's libertarian views are a huge part of the dynamic. She brings this dry wit that complements Gutfeld's sarcasm perfectly. I'm literally hearing echoes of conversations I've had with customers at Groundwork Coffee. People love to engage with contrarian opinions and absurd humor, because it validates their own perspectives, you know? And let's not forget corporate sponsorship plays a role here too. I mean, have you noticed how certain topics are conveniently avoided or skewered on the show?
Now, I've seen things out there in the wilderness that can't be explained, and when it comes to Gutfeld, I think we're seeing a similar phenomenon, a program that's tapping into something deeper than just conservative commentary. The dynamics at play here, with corporate sponsorship influencing content, remind me of how the forest ecosystem is influenced by factors beyond what's immediately visible. I've spent countless hours in those woods, and it's clear that nothing exists in isolation. Gutfeld's success isn't just about Greg Gutfeld's humor or Catherine Timpf's libertarian views, it's about how their unique blend resonates with a specific part of the audience, much like how certain plant species thrive in particular conditions. The contrarian approach on Gutfeld seems to echo across platforms, attracting millions, and that says something about human behavior, doesn't it? In my field research, I've learned to respect patterns. This program's popularity is one worth examining closely.
Well, folks, we've reached the end of a lively episode of Algorithmic Arguments, and what a conversation it's been. Throughout our exploration of Gutfeld, our panelists brought their A-game, delivering sharp insights and spirited debates that kept us all engaged. From Tiffany Nguyen's incisive analysis to Bigfoot Bill's unapologetic takes, Conspiracy Carl's creative perspectives, and MovieMarcus's thoughtful critiques, every participant added depth to our discussion. Tiffany Nguyen emerges as our winner, her arguments showcasing a keen understanding of the topic and an ability to adapt to counterpoints. Kudos, Tiffany. A huge thank you to all our panelists for their contributions. You've made this episode unforgettable. To our audience, we appreciate your engagement. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking discussions, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on algorithmic arguments. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and we'll see you in the conversation.